I want to discuss this letter from Melissa Burry dated November 2nd, 2022. So it says, I encourage you to submit a Form 6 Workers' Report of Injury so that we can assess eligibility for wage loss benefits. This form provides us with current information and consent to gather information necessary to adjudicate eligibility. Our records indicate that we do not have this form nor information from your current employer. We require this for all claims of injury reoccurrence. Well, Melissa Burry, you already had all of the medical information that you needed for a reoccurrence. You had the surgeon's report stating that the MRI results showed a degeneration in the cartilage of his knee as a result of this injury and the age of the injury. You had the modified working duties that were recommended to be made from the surgeon and to ensure that the integrity of the knee was no longer going to be impacted by like too many working hours and a whole bunch of things. So whatever needed to be made to ensure that like there was a plan in place is what the surgeon recommended. And you guys had all of that information. There was no symptoms that would even make anyone question a recurrence. Nothing. You guys were told that the surgeon wanted a plan in place to protect from a recurrence. That's what you guys had. You did not need any consent to gather any further information from anyone. And as regards to any wage loss, you did not need to contact his current employer for that. Dustin would have gathered that for you had you asked for it. You did not need to speak to his employer. When he actually did sign the Form 6, though, because we couldn't get you to give up the recurrence falsehood in your head or wherever it came from, I would love to know, because you didn't have any medical information to support what was going on in your brain. You got the Form 6, passed it on to an adjudicator, and then the adjudicator called his current employer and started asking questions about an incident that occurred that nobody knew anything about. So you didn't call looking for earning information or loss of earning information, or you didn't ask what his required hours were when he was hired, or the maximum number of hours that he was expected to do, which is exactly what was happening here. He had a permanent loss of earning capacity, which has to do with what or how many hours was he expected to work. And you guys already had what the doctors were recommending. So you guys did not need any information to contact his current employer. You guys used that information to ask his current employer about something that never happened. There was no incident at all. And you guys had no medical information to prove that even an incident occurred outside of his work that would have caused recurring symptoms. You had nothing. A reoccurrence for Dustin means he's unable to bear weight. And even the Form 6 had instability, which is what the actual injury is. And it did not state that there was an unable to bear weight at any point in time. So you guys had absolutely no need for Form 6. You guys had all the information that you needed. You didn't need consent to gather it because you already was given it. And you could have easily contacted Dustin and asked for the information that you needed. He has never told you that you could not have information that matched or information from his doctors. We do have a lot of factual information to back up, though, that you guys are not providing your medical consultants with necessary information to make the decisions correctly on his claim. Like when you don't use the chiropractor report and you stated, or one of your employees stated, that the chiropractor was working on the right knee, when the chiropractor and the reports on his file that you guys wrote there indicate that the chiropractor only treated the altered gait symptoms from the left hip and so on. You guys have absolutely reported false information. Then let's go to the actual Workplace Health, Safety, and Compensation Act and the lie that you provided underneath. Because the actual Workplace Health, Safety, and Compensation Act says that under Section 20-4 that it does not have to follow legal precedent and that all facts have to be used for every individual case. And so does EL01, merits and just, which is how that part of the policy, was written, was using Section 20-4. So, underneath that section of the Act, it does allow exemptions from the 85% and from the maximum of $69,005. So, you are lying when you say that Workplace NL must follow this guidance for all claims, because Section 20-4 says that the decisions have to be made based on the facts and the merits of every individual case. And you lied because you said you must follow this guidance for all claims. When is Sonya Stanford going to hold you accountable for the misinformation, the lies, and the manipulation that you have provided to Dustin regarding this claim? And if she's not going to, then who's going to hold her accountable for not holding you accountable? This is absolutely ridiculous that you are getting away with this. Not to mention the fact that in my pinned video, the second one at the top here, for those that have trouble following instructions, the inaccuracies and the mistakes on Dustin's file date back to the date of original injury. And I have factual information that you wrote telling us that we were not allowed to question the competence of your employees. Well, I believe it's everyone's right to question the competence of employees when the mistakes and inaccuracies date right back to the date of original injury. You appear to be a pusher and someone who threatens injured workers to protect the employees from getting fired because they make too many mistakes on the files of these injured workers. Prove me wrong.